This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president and CEO of Kutcho Copper, Mr. Vince Sorace. Vince, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Gerardo. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you for coming on. Listen, let's get right into it. It's been a very, very tough junior market for 97%, and I'm being generous, of junior companies here in the last couple of years. I think that's starting to turn, and I always say that it's going to be producers and then companies with robust assets that have frankly market caps that are just so disproportionate to the underlying asset. Kutcho Copper absolutely checks that box. You have an asset that has a net present value of roughly $600 or $700 million Canadian, yet you sit here with a market cap sub $20 million Canadian. And so I wanted to have you on because I'm a huge copper bull. I believe that copper is headed much, much higher. And Kutcho, unlike a lot of the exploration companies out there looking to find something, already has a great asset in place. So for those not familiar with the Kutcho Copper story, can you give us a brief overview of the company and the asset? And I want to talk exploration upside because that's pretty significant as well.
Yeah, so, as you mentioned, Cucho has an asset that has been de-risked to a feasibility study that we completed a few years ago. And that feasibility study at $4 copper produced economics of, $536 million NPV, a 30% IRR. And this is for those, it's located in British Columbia, here in Canada, so a very, very safe mining jurisdiction. We have financial partners of Wheaton Precious Metals in the deal. We are situated in an area where there's lots of existing infrastructure. We've got very favorable First Nations support in the area. And again, this isn't something that we're looking for. It's something that we have. And there's been, a lot of money spent on this asset already to get to where we have, probably north of $70 million. So we've got a well-defined asset that, we believe is one that will get put in production one day. We've been steadily making progress down that path post feasibility study. And, at today's prices, to reiterate what you said, we've seen a fantastic run in copper. The industry and myself believes that that's going to continue as we sit around $4.50 a pound copper. The net present value of the company has increased substantially from there. I mean, obviously very sensitive to copper prices, and now sits at about a $688 million net present value. So yes, we've got an asset that. The money's been spent, it's been found, it's there. We're trading at, under a $20 million market cap. And, this deserves some attention. We're starting to see it ourselves from, I guess, other industry participants that we've been talking to. So we are, I believe, ready to, when this junior market picks up a bit, capitalize on this.
Well, the one criticism that I've had of Kutcho Copper, and listen, you were right the last couple of years, by the way, Vince. So the criticism had a good reason for it. But the one criticism I've had is I'm really attracted to exploration plays, and the upside with VMS type deposits tends to be significant when you only have one that you've discovered, because of the fact that VMS type deposits tend to happen in clusters, right? And so the criticism from me has always been, hey, Vince, why aren't you drilling? Why aren't you drilling? The answer, of course, was valid. You're not drilling because the market wasn't there and raising capital was extremely dilutive. However, we have a better copper market now. And I really, really want to highlight the exploration upside because as great as the current asset is and then the value that underpins that market cap, the exploration is pretty attractive. Can you speak to that a bit?
Yeah, and we when we acquired this asset years ago, the objective was at the time, and the strategy was at the time, the quickest path to feasibility study and permitting, and that's where a lot of our capital went. Um, Market slowed down a bit in the last couple of years, as you said, but we did raise some money last year, and we did an extensive, very extensive geophysical program with some other exploration techniques, and we have generated a number of what we believe, significant targets on the exploration side. Some of these being, we would classify them as brownfields targets. And probably the most pertinent one at this point would be the SOS target. We have always known, and, there are Kutcho the deposits comprise three lenses currently, and SO being the smallest in footprint, but the highest grade, which sits deeper than the others, had some historic drill holes 300 meters to the west of it that were clipping mineralization. Now, we didn't go out and further test that because they were pretty deep drill holes. And so we took last year, spent a couple $1 million again on a big geophysical and ground truthing program. And we lit up a pretty significant target, one in particular, a number of targets, but the one in particular that's really exciting us is what we're calling SO West. A significant anomaly sitting to the west of our SO deposit. There's been existing drill holes that we interpret as, kind of clipping something that's there that is resembling in mineralogy and grade to the SO deposit and is quite extensive in size, which could lend the theory to, and yes, VMS districts tend to form in clusters, and there's typically more there. Adding to that nothing like what we did last year was ever done in the past. We've conducted the most extensive, call it exploration type program on this property that's ever been done. So no one has done this before. We've lit up these targets. The SOS target, the SO deposit itself, being the smallest footprint with these three lenses, contributes to about half the value of the project of our company on an MPV basis. So, with SO West, the new SO West target, that could be a very significant change to the value of the asset should we be tapping into similar mineralization that SO has. So that's high on the objective and high on the list. Outside of that, again, we've generated a number of exciting drill targets that we intend to pursue.
What comes next? When do you intend to pursue them, Vince?
We're working on that now. We've been in talks with contractors and kind of lining up plans to proceed with this. So there'll be more to come about that.
Looking forward to it. I absolutely love buying low and selling high. The stock is near a 52-week low. Copper is at a 52 or near a 52-week high. The contrast couldn't be any more apparent to me. So absolutely looking forward to seeing what Kutcho does in this market. Anything to add to that, Vince?
No, I think we've covered it. I think once we've seen, as you said, the producers respond to this favorable move in copper, but a lot of that just hasn't translated yet down into the juniors. But I believe it's coming, and when it does, it should be a pretty robust move, within the junior space.
I absolutely agree. Vince, thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.